Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Sharan Thaimare. I represent Seed Global Education. Today in this session, we've got a really exciting session, which is reimagining your career in the age of AI, and is brought to you by SP Jain School of Global Management. This wonderful university has a campus all across the world. Yes, Singapore, Sydney, Dubai, Mumbai, London now, and also some encroachments in North America as well. In the next 1 hour, we are going to take you through a little bit about reimagining your career in the age of artificial intelligence, as well as learn little more about this university known as SP Jain, which is also happens to be my alma mater. I have studied the global MBA program at SP Jain School of Global Management, so I will be able to also try and give you some insights. As we wait for some more people to join in, we're already 96 of us in this room. As we wait for more people to join in, why don't you tell me in the chat? There's a chat box. Why don't you tell me in the chat which city you are joining in from? Let us know in the chat which city you're joining in from. We've got Sahil here from Panchkani. That's a wonderful place to join this session from. A lot of you here from Delhi, Shirdi, Islamabad, Muzammil, welcome from the other side. We've got someone here from Surat, Cambridge, Dubai as well, Pune, Kutch in Gujarat, Srinagar, Patna, Thane, Kashmir, Gurgaon, some places in Punjab as well. If you have friends that haven't joined this session, we've got Basam here from Manama in Bahrain. Welcome. If you've got friends who haven't joined this session, let them know that it's 7:30 p.m. here in India, and whatever time it is where you are supposed to be. We are close to 150, 125 people rather in this room. Let us know which city you're joining in from. I can see that there are people from the length and breadth of this country, a lot of people from outside India as well. So welcome everyone. I think it's going to be a jam-packed, power-packed 1 hour session where you learn little more about your career in this digital phase, which is in artificial intelligence. And we'll also hear about SP Jain's School of Global Management and their wonderful programs for postgraduate in Masters of Global Business and in the Global MBA program as well. We are going to be joined by Professor Christopher Abraham. I will do his introduction slightly later, but I will also would like to invite two wonderful people, that is Meghna Chabra and Smita Singh, who represent SP Jain School of Global Management and whose job is responsible for helping prospective candidates like you. If you guys are looking to pursue your master's or an MBA program, then these two people are your wonderful points of contacts. And over the next 10 minutes, they are going to take us through a little bit about why you should consider pursuing a master's or an MBA program in or at SP Jain School of Global Management. I know a lot of you will have questions, so keep that in the Q&A tab. We will have a quick 10-minute presentation before we move on to the session, which is led by Professor Christopher Abraham on what we're looking for, which is reimagining your career in the age of AI. Over to you, Smita. Please take us through and tell us a little bit about SPJ.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining in today. I am Smita. I'm from the admissions team of SPJ School of Global Management. And if you can hear me well, can you just put a thumbs up on chat so it'd be helpful for me to know if I need to increase my volume or something? All right, sure. All right, I can see that. All right, great. Thank you so much for confirming that, Saib. And let me just start off with what kind of student life are we looking at when we talk about SPGen? So just let me just quickly let you, you know, take you through this.
Smita, we are missing out on the audio.
All right. So there's no audio, is it?
No, no.
All right. Okay. Then I think it's not compatible in that case. What I'll just quickly do is, now I think I've got most of your attention, and there are 180 people joining in now. So we've got a good crowd. So let me just introduce who we are. We are SP Jain School of Global Management, one of the most renowned institutes from India that's homegrown and then gone abroad to be registered in Australia and London now. So we've just added another feather to our cap. And we have campuses in Dubai, Singapore, Mumbai, and Sydney, and now in London. So why is SPJN different from any other institute? Though we are like, fairly a new business school with just 20 years of experience, we are still ranked amongst the top Forbes, Financial Times, and Times Higher Education Journal, etc. So this marks us apart that, though we are an upcoming B school, we are fairly a new B school, and yet we are giving tough competitions to international B schools who've been in business for 100 plus years. Now we are the pioneers of world's first Tri-City undergrad and postgrad program. So what do we mean when we say we are pioneers of Tri-City undergrad and postgrad program? I'll just quickly take you through that as well, but let me just give you a zest of what kind of rankings or what kind of recognitions we hold. So here we've been ranked by Forbes, by Financial Times, Economist, the Times Higher Education, and Wall Street Journal, the youngest school featured ever. And what makes it very, very, I would say, standing out feature is that we are ranked number one in salary growth. So what we've done is we've taken in consideration once the student moves out of SP Gen to, and in the 5 year span, but the data collected, it puts us on number one of the rank, wherein where the student growth is highlighted. So this is the ranking or the quality of students we've been looking at. Now coming to what are the programs we are offering. So we have a global MBA that is offered at SP Gen, and I will just quickly take you through. It's a 12 months program, a 12 months full-time program wherein you study in Singapore. Uh, uh, so you actually now you have two concepts wherein you can do a single city program in London. You can start and finish the whole course in London, or you can do a tri-city program where you start your program in Singapore, progress between Sydney or London. You have a choice. You do your second semester there and your last semester in Dubai. So that's how you cover the continents across the globe in these semesters. The eligibility criteria of this program is you need to have at least 2 years of work experience, and this 2 years has to be a full-time work experience after you've completed your graduation. The kind of specialization that we offer, it's a dual specialization. You can choose, you can mix and match what kind of specialization you are doing, like the main minors and the major subjects that you can choose from. But they are 5 specializations that we offer, and then you graduate with a global recognized degree from Australia or UK. So I'll also explain you how the Australian degree or the UK degree is similar when it comes to studying with us, and how different it is from each other as we progress through my presentation. So now coming to the next program that SPGen offers, it's Masters of Global Business. This is a program which is of 16 months full-time, wherein 12 months would be academics, followed by 4 months of integrated paid internship. So this, as the program suggests, it's for mostly freshers who do not have the corporate experience, and thus we are providing them with this internship opportunity that gives them a fair idea of how the corporate works. And secondly, it also gives them a chance to convert into a full-time placement. So it's the best process that the students go through in their learning journey. Again, the study model remains the same. You start off your first semester in Singapore, followed by second semester. You have a choice between London and Sydney, and the third semester in Singapore. You can do your internship in either of these places. There's no limit on that. And there are 4 specializations that we offer onto this program. Now you graduate with either a Australian or a UK degree. So that also you can choose from. Now, like I'm telling you that, I've just told you you can choose from Australian and the London degree. So how do we do this? How do we bifurcate it? So the Australian degree program, so if you're looking to graduate with an Australian degree, then you will be doing a Tri-City program, wherein you start your program in Singapore, progress your second term in either London, or you do or London or Sydney, and you do your third semester in Dubai, and you graduate with a Australian degree. For a UK degree, you can do all terms in London. That is, you start your first term in London and finish your last term in London along with your internship in London. All right. And the third option also you have, wherein you can do your first and second term in London and the third term in Dubai. So this, we are looking at the fragility of the UK economy and giving you as an option wherein, you can come to Dubai, do your specialization. And if you want, you can take an internship and take a UK degree with this. So for the first option of Tri-City, you get you're awarded an Australian degree when you graduate. And for the other 2 options, you are awarded an UK degree when you graduate. So what are the specializations that we have? While global logistics and supply chain management remains like the best, the most popular specialization, I would say, amongst our students, there's marketing management and global finance, which is available for both global MBA as well as the MGB, or the Masters of Global Business program. However, technology management and consulting management is something which is for somebody who already has prior experience, who has already worked in that field. So we've tried to keep that specialization only for the GMBA program. And while the digital business market management is something we've introduced to our Masters of Global Business. So, the students are free to choose from any of these specializations here. Now, when you talk about SPJ, and I've spoken about, what kind of rankings we are holding, and let me, the backbone of this remains what kind of faculty we are looking at when we say this. So we've got faculty from the world's best schools of Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, Harvard, Cornell, and Duke. So that makes us, that gives you a crux of what kind of learning and mentoring you will be having along your journey. Then there are expertise who are coming from 5 different continents, which means they'll be the best mixture of their experience through of their working in that particular zone, who are going to come and mentor you throughout the program and teach you, guide you. Then one thing that marks us apart from any other B school, I would say one of the most crucial thing is it's not just the faculty who's gonna judge you on your assignments, on your projects, but you are gonna judge the faculty as well. Yes, we have a feedback session for the faculty, which the students evaluate. They give it, and the faculty is supposed to have at least 8.5 as their criteria to be performing with us. So that's the kind of pressure we also put on faculty to, always be around student and mentor them in the right way as per their expectation. So this is the kind of learning that you would be going through. Now, one very important question which we all would like to have a look at is what kind of placements are we looking at? So here are a small list of companies who come down to recruit students from our campuses. And so we very proudly say that Pogo Port is a company by our alum who comes back to SPJN to recruit more students for their organization. And that is why it's highlighted in the yellow color. And otherwise, you can take a picture of what kind of companies are coming down for the recruitment purposes. To make it even more clear, let's just have a look at what has been the employment trend in the last year of placement. So we're looking at the international placements, in international internship, the highest CTC of the MGB program right now. So just to quickly remind you again, MGB is a program which does not require any experience. So somebody with less than 2 years of experience is able to fetch this kind of placement. So imagine, you don't have to imagine, actually, I'm just going to the next slide. The GMBA is something that we will profoundly tell that it gives you a five-fold increase over pre-MBA salaries. So this is the kind of salary hike or the average salary packages we look at the GMBA students have been, getting. So let's just quickly have a look at a few of our celebrated students from the past batch who were placed very well and in various organizations. Just handful, so that you can you can go back and connect on LinkedIn and try and drive some experiences from our page as well as PJN, and you'll be able to get an overview of it. So these are all the students that we've placed through last year. And now coming to another crucial questions that most of you students would have is, how do we fund? How do we fund this program? So yes, all the leading banks in India have partnered with us, and I would take this pride of saying that we get collateral-free loans for it, which also brings credibility to the placement journey that I've just taken you through, that if the banks can trust us with collateral-free loans, so, our students have been performing that well. So yes, that's about our program. I hope I've not taken more than 10 minutes for this, and I'll be open for any question and answer now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Smita. I think we'll do the question answers right after Professor Chris's presentation. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, Smita, for this wonderful insight about SPGN School of Global Management, my alma mater. So, we can already see some questions in the chat as to why we should consider SPGN, and Meghna, Smita, and myself, including Prof. Chris, will be kind enough to patiently answer all the questions. So without further ado, what we are here for is to learn a little bit about reimagining your career in the age of artificial intelligence, and no better person than Professor Christopher Abraham to talk to us about this. I have been part of his class for, during my time at SPGen. So always a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you so much for making time, to come into this session. Pleasure to see you once again. Just a quick introduction. Prof. Chris is the head of campus for SPGen's Global School of Global Management campus based in Dubai. He's a PhD in business administration with expertise in design thinking and positive psychology. He's also studied, many different subjects across the world, and his contributions in the field of management education, and one of the first few people to have been there when SPGen School of Global Management set stone, many years ago. Prof. Chris, thank you so much for taking time to join us, and we'd love to hear about your take about the age of AI, and how and how prospective students and students can reimagine their career.
Certainly. I just have one technical clarification, which is if I'm going to ask questions, because I wanted to be a little interactive, would they be able to answer on chat if I ask a question?
They will. Yes. Yes, Prof.
Super. Just wanted that clarity. All right. So I'm just going to start straight away. I will put my screen on. Just hang on a minute. You can see my screen, I presume. Share. Yeah, right. You can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Right. On behalf of SP Jain School of Global Management, my pleasure and privilege to welcome each one of you to this masterclass on reimagining your career in the age of AI. I've also added the factor of disruption in the age of AI and disruption. So tough possibilities, but probably by the end of the session, you would go back with a lot of hope, with a lot of clarity in terms of what it really means to take control of your futures, your destinations, and of course, your destinies. Let me start with an interesting video. I want you to look at it and be ready to answer questions after watching the video. At the end of the day, I'm a teacher, right? Teachers ask questions. All right, here we go.
Listen up, babies. Life's not fair.
Now, wait a minute.
You get no say.
Wait a minute. The video has a slight issue. Just hang on a minute. Just hang on. It should now play right. Yeah. Yeah. Apologies for the technical confusion. I think we're good to go. Yeah.
Listen up, babies. Life's not fair. You get no say in the world you're born into. You don't decide your name. You don't decide where you come from. You don't decide if you have a place to call home or if your whole family has to leave the country. Yeah, it's messed up. You don't decide how the world judges a person like you. You don't decide how your story begins, but you do get to decide how it ends. Yes!
All right. Tell me, what do you think about that video? You can put your answers on chat so I know exactly what your thoughts are. Go ahead. Anybody? We have to take steps to get to the goal. Well said. What else? Anybody else? The idea behind it comes from belief. Super. Very well said. Okay. What else? Okay, we have some good answers. A very good and compelling ad. Okay. Forget the ad. Tell the message. Yeah. What is the message that's coming out? Yeah. Don't hesitate to change. Okay. What else? What else? What else is coming from that? Regardless of what circumstances. Brilliant. Decide your own future. Super, super. We have a bunch of very smart students here. Super. We can. Exactly. So in other words, we decide what we have to do. We don't decide where we are born. We don't decide our names. We don't decide to whom we are born, at least up to now, right? But you are the creator of your own destiny, as one of you beautifully put it. Superb. So this is exactly what it is. That's the first message I want to leave you. The world is very uncertain. The world is getting extremely tricky. It's getting very technology oriented, but you hold the future in your hands. You write your destiny, right? So that's the first message that comes out. And probably as we progress, you will see that a lot more ideas can be brought in this age of technology and in the age of you can touch the skies. You can even go beyond the skies. You said it so beautiful. So happy, guys. Yeah, no matter where you're from. Superb. And let me see for hard work, of course. Yeah, so there's one more message, the last message, which was about Nike. You got to do it. You can't be watching life pass by. You got to do it, and you are the creator of your own destiny. Superb. Very well said, guys. Thank you very much for this lovely cooperation. We take more questions as it comes. Right. So it's on us. It's on each one of us to reimagine our futures. It's in our hands how we determine it. Everything is available. Here's my next question. We live in incredible times. I want you to react to this and say all, none, or some. Statement number one, we don't need animals to make meat. We don't need fields to grow crops. We can make coffee without the plant. We can make food from air. We can print food in space. All, none, some. Start your answers on chat. Let's see. Okay, some. Okay, a lot of sums. Lot of sums. Alishba says none. Okay. Brilliant. Thanks, Aditi. Okay, Aditi says all. Many sums. Okay. Sachin says all. Aditi and Sachin says all. And then we have a lot of sums. Okay. Friends, the answer to this question is today we live in an age where all of these are possible. I'll have to do another session to prove my point, but trust me, as a teacher, as a professor, we have done our homework. You don't need animals to make meat. There's a product called Beyond Meat. There's a product called Impossible. I even heard there's an Indian version called Imagine, right? So you can do that. We don't need fields to grow crops. Today, hydroponics, aquaponics, vertical farming, you name it. There's a place, I live in Dubai. There's a place next to us called Sharjah, where there's a firm called Vegitech, where in the middle of the desert, using artificial intelligence, data science, and the latest, agricultural technologies, they are growing crops, fruits, and vegetables 365 days a year. Please remember, we are a desert, right? So all of these are very much possible, which tells us where the world is moving. For us, what it means is that now we can make Kalishba. I'll have to have a private conversation with you on that. We can make. You can Google this. You can find this out. You can Google it, right? That's fascinating stuff that's happening around, right? The world is changing dramatically with the advancement of human wisdom and artificial intelligence. There's some amazing stuff that is happening, right? So in our technological era, you as youngsters, students budding to, further your career, reimagine your career, there are three questions people never ask you. Question number one, what would you do if you had access to all the world's knowledge? And the answer is obvious because today you have AI, you have big data, you have the internet. Yeah, Alishba now accepts. Yeah, well done, Alishba. Good, you did your homework. Good. AI plus big data plus the internet and the global knowledge that's available to each one of us. Each one of us, young and old, it doesn't matter, age not, withstanding, region notwithstanding, as long as you have a decent internet connection, you have access to the world of knowledge. This is an eye opener for us. So, what do I do with it? Yes, one is I go to a formal institution like SP Jain and enhance my knowledge. Two, I can access this sitting at home to enhance and complement the learning I get from a formal institution. Number two, access to all the world's skills. Now, this is a very, very interesting, very, I would say, pertinent question. Because once artificial intelligence automates jobs and skills, it democratizes access to those jobs and skills for everyone to use, right? So, here's another interesting insight. Just quickly run you through. If I had to, ask this 200 odd, group of students, are you a creative person? Maybe 30-40% would say I'm creative, right? And then if I ask, are you a numbers person? Another probably 30-40, and the rest would be in between here and there. The good news. The bad news is that most of us are not aware. That's the bad news. The good news is that all of us have a right brain, a God given right brain, and a God given left brain. And if you combine the both, and both the brains, both parts of the brains are available in all of us. So you, as a creative person, can also even out as a numbers person. And if you're an analytical person, you can become a creative person. Today, there are tools available, technologies available, frameworks available for us to become what we call whole brain thinkers. 21st century is all about whole brain thinking and whole brain thinkers. And the third question, and the ability to bring whatever you imagine to life. Okay? Technology magnifies the power of individuals to ideate and develop new products and services and to execute at digital speed and global scale. How many of you have heard of this company called Colossus? Colossus, anybody? Yes, no? You can say yes or no. Colossus. Okay. Ibrahim says no. Okay. Daria says yes. That's interesting. Okay. Haven't. Okay. A lot of no's. Okay. We all have heard of extinction, right? Some of us worry over it. Some of us say we wish we could go back to the age of woolly mammoths and dodos, right? So Colossus is a biosciences company based out of North America. And what they are into is the business of de-extinction, right? So extinction, we're familiar. That's the extinction of species. Colossus is trying to recreate. They're already, at many phases ahead. And that company is now trying to recreate the woolly mammoth through gene engineering and the dodo. So all the dead species can be brought back to life. Things which we thought impossible can be made possible today. And that's whatever you imagine to life can be done. There's another company in the UK called NotPla. NotPla stands for not plastic, okay? Not plastic, NotPla. And NotPla says you don't need plastic. You can make something like plastic from seaweed, algae, and that you can use it for packaging water, ketchups, juices, you name it, anything. And here's the best part. Unlike a plastic container where you'll have to throw it, you can eat the packaging. I'm not joking. You can Google this after the session is over. You can YouTube it, and you will love the ad that they put where you eat the actual, packaging. So the point I'm trying to say is whatever we imagine can be brought to life. Companies like Colossus, companies like Notpla, there's another company called E12, which is among other things doing, carbon-free aviation fuel. I can go on and on, but these are fascinating examples of the power of human imagination and human wisdom. And for all of you youngsters, you're the future. You have even more exciting things, unimaginable things that are possible, right? So with the right mindset, anything is possible. So what do we look for in this new era of Education 4.0? Progress through knowledge, prosperity through peace, because that's what we want. The world is fighting. Strength through unity. This might sound like warm, fuzzy words. They're all validated by science. Okay? That yes, peace is possible, knowledge enhancement is possible, and unity is possible. The world can't be diverse and disparate. We need to get together to create a better universe for all of us. So what we need is the ability to adapt and learn at extreme speed, right? That's the caveat. But the good news is that we have today technologies, platforms, and frameworks available, which can enable all of us to do that at the speed that is required. So the future of education, right, I would believe is in both our hands, in yours and in ours. You as the students and we as the faculty or teachers, we'll be both responsible for reimagining the future of education. Let me also remind you, a teacher is also or needs to also be a student for life. Just so that you're aware, at my age, I still spend 2 to 3 hours every single day learning, reading something new. Otherwise, you become extinct and you would need a colossus to de-extinct me and bring me back to life, which is not the best of ideas. So we have moved on from the first, second, and third. concentrate on the fourth one, which is the connected enterprise, which is now all about getting technologies connecting people, connecting processes, connecting products, connecting everything together to bring us together to work. And this is based on the World Economic Forum. This is another very interesting source that I'd like you to follow. Every 2 to 3 years, the World Economic Forum publishes a very interesting report called the Future Skills, okay? Future Skills Report from the World Economic Forum. And that's a very interesting encapsulation of the key skills that we need to not only survive but thrive in a dynamically changing and disruptive world. Right. So what is happening around is what we call the mega shifts in the world. Most of it is kind of familiar: automation, digitization, personalization. Cognification is machines starting to think like humans, what we call cognitive computing. Robotization, of course, virtualization, you would probably know virtual reality, meta, augmented reality, disintermediation, which is the distinction between what is happening in a particular industry completely disintermediated. For example, Airbnb in the hospitality industry, Uber in the transportation industry have become platforms which have disintermediated traditional existing technologies and industries. So the future is here for us as a guide to the post-COVID world, because COVID was a paradigm shift. None of us expected it. None of us were prepared for it, but all of us coped with it, and which is why we are here. Some of you would have been what we call the COVID generation, where you studied in a university, where you had to go through the pangs of a pandemic. But here's the good news, that industries are now converging. This is a very, very important dimension. It's no longer the age of specialization. Nishant wants to know leadership opportunities. Yeah, I'll let you know that, Nishant. Okay. So what is happening is that number of these different technologies are converging. This is important. Nanotechnology combining with robotics, cloud computing combining with biotechnology. So the combinatorial technologies is another exciting frontier to be explored, right? And these are absolutely exciting, cutting edge. So even though you might be contemplating a career in business or technology, you're still looking at these trends that are going to be quite relevant, right? So for example, I do a lot of deep dive into AI and neuroscience and biotechnology, because this is where the future lies, right? So you need to know it. Look at this one. Look first at the right side. We'll go into the left side, is more of a fun thing, but the right one is the skills that I spoke about. This is as of 2023, when World Economic Forum came with the top 10 skills of 2025, and 2025, please remember, is just 3 months away. I want you to look at that for a few minutes, okay? And ask yourself a question. As you read through each of those bullets, how good am I at analytical thinking and innovation? How good am I at active learning and learning strategies? How good am I at complex problem solving? How good am I at critical thinking and analysis? Okay. And how good am I? Yes. Yeah. Okay. These questions we'll answer after the end of the session, Ali. Leadership and social influence, creativity, originality, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, reasoning, problem solving and ideation. So I presume you would have given a self-assessment of yourself against these critical skills of 2025. And please remember, there's a very interesting insight here. We talk so much about AI, we talk so much about the convergence of all these technologies, but the real skills you and I as human beings need are much more than technology. If you see there, problem solving, which is not about technology, it's about your brain working in our head to solve complex problems, of course, with the aid and complemented by technology. Self-management, which is all about managing yourself as a wise, resilient, flexible human being. Working with people, right? So you have a whole range of other things that are going to be so useful apart from just knowing technology use and technology, let's say, design and programming. And then on the left side, you have some very interesting jobs that could be there. AI ethics evaluator, robot trainer, virtual culture architect, meta person, data talent and AI integrator, and cyber ecosystem designer, right? So it gives you a flavor of what really happens in the world. So what does it mean to us, to education? That's you, and to us as educators? Well, a whole range of things where we learn from the changing world. So what is Education 4.0? Anywhere, anytime, right? So you not only learn from a classroom, you learn outside the classroom, which is an experience that SP Jain offers. Global learning outside the classroom, learn about the culture, learn about the politics, learn about the business of one of the 3 or 4 fascinating cities that you would be exposed to. Could be London, could be Sydney, could be Singapore, could be Dubai, right? And each of these are world-class cities with unique characteristics. And you have the ability to actually learn in each of these cities. It's personalized. We do have a mobile app that can personalize your learning journey. For example, you take 4 subjects in a particular term, you're good at 2, you're average in 1, and you're kind of struggling with the other. The app can help you to identify areas how you can improve that particular area, enhance the learning there, and within a few days or weeks of training, you are up, ready to actually participate in the class along with your classmates, right? So that's another very interesting in our exploration. Personalization, which is very much possible with big data and AI. And we also, somebody asked, how do we use technology? There's a whole range of things that we do, right from engaged online to AI enabled course tutoring, AI enabled course preparation, even the classroom. The engaged learning classroom is an environment where on face to face scenarios, you can recreate a whole range of technological inferences. Flexible delivery. So as I said, you can do it online, you can do it offline, you can do it, robotic, all kinds of things. Peers and mentors. So you learn from your friends, your students, your peers, a community. In fact, during COVID, we had communities across the world, student communities across the world, where our students were interacting with others. And then, this is interesting. You would be exposed to a lot of why and where. Because what and how is already there available as knowledge. What you really need is the critical questions of why and where. And of course, everything links back to practical applications. In each of the cities that you learn, you're going to learn live projects. You'll be doing a regional immersion project or a regional industry project in one city, then go to the other city. You're going to do another project pertaining to that particular city. So practical applications of the learning that happens, which is again very important. And then you also have projects that you do, assignments. For example, in most of my courses, I don't have a final exam. I don't believe in asking question answers because, maybe ChatGPT can give you all the answers. I'd love to use your thinking, your critical thinking, your problem solving skills, where I give you a live scenario and you would have to react to that by giving. So I teach courses like design thinking, courses on behavioral sciences, teamwork, leadership. And in each of these, we're looking at application-based projects. And then at the end of the day, the learning is owned by the student. Why do I say that? Let's say you join an intensive program like SP Jain, a lot of stuff you will get from us. But I don't think that's the be all and end all. That's your starting point. There's a whole world outside. I keep encouraging my students, go beyond, be different, do something beyond. And a few of them catch on to it. And trust me, guys, one of you asked about leadership. Are there leadership opportunities? Of course, yes. You take the lead and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to start this particular club. I want to run this environmental initiative. I want to run this women's empowerment club. Whatever you dream, whatever you imagine, we'd be happy to support you. In each of our campuses, we run TEDx, series. So again, it's on you to take the leadership and run it. So not just the learning, but anything even beyond learning can be owned by you, the student. And we give a lot of freedom and independence to do that. And last but not the least, I think we have to say bye to examination. The conventional way where we ask questions and answers, we need to go towards what we call evaluation. Evaluation of what? Evaluation of your skills, evaluation of the practical application of the acquired knowledge, and not just examine through Q&A, right? So that is what we mean by that. So what drives this initiative? Future skills, as we saw from the World Economic Forum. Longevity. We are now talking about 100-year life, which is no longer just a distant dream. There's already plenty of work that's happening in the space where people can conveniently extend their lives to 100 years and beyond. We are talking about the millennial mindset, that's all of you, digital networks and devices, familiar. Post COVID, there's a whole transformation in the way we look at how we react to challenges, pandemics, and other kinds of catastrophes. Worldwide, there's an emergence of a number of collaboration platforms. Let me give you an example. You want to run a program on, let's say, environmental consciousness, sustainability, climate change. You don't need to run here and there. You just have to either create a platform or, better still, join a platform that's already there and become part of that global community trying to solve problems. Let me give you an interesting example. There is a company owned by Eli Lilly, the pharma company, that is currently owning an innovation platform called Innocentive. It's a very interesting term. What does Innocentive do? Innocentive collects problems from across the world. These could be corporate problems, social problems, environmental problems, whatever. They'll put it on the website, Innocentive. You have people like us, all of us, who could become members of that platform at no cost. If you find that you have a solution for the problem that's been portrayed, go for it. And if your solution is selected, you get paid for it. You get recognized and you could, right? So that's another interesting example. Investment in developing people, talent investment, shared content and resources, as I said, available for all of us. Resources like Khan Academy, Coursera, edX, which I'll share later with you, right? And of course, all of this leading to social progress. A few years back, a few decades back rather, I was part of a national endeavor in India, reaching out to the unreached people in rural parts of India. We used to use televisions, video casting, so on and so forth. Today, any person, and we know of billions of people like that, empowered with a single mobile device, which has a basic, decent internet connection. That's it. You have access to the world's knowledge and the world of knowledge. Somebody asked a question pertaining to the earlier slide, which is why, where, not what, how. Why is the power of purpose, whoever asked that question, why is the power of purpose? It's all about why you want to do what you want to do. And where is anywhere? You don't need a particular place to do it, right? For us, as you see, multiple campuses. It can also be online. You can go beyond that and do something beyond the existing platforms. That's what we mean by that. What and how is the conventional way of assessing? So, how do you future proof your future career? Number one, nano degrees. So, you are getting, let's say, for example, you contemplated joining SP Jain. Good for you. It's a great career. And as the presentation said, amazing placements, amazing starting salaries, great opportunities. But that doesn't prevent you from doing something extra. What is that extra? A nano degree. What's a nano degree? It's a micro degree. Could be 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Comes with a lovely certification. Most and given by some of the big, players like Google, Microsoft, SAP, whatever. And here's the best part. It's not a piece of paper. It is a piece of paper that will help you to demonstrate that you have learned that particular skill. That's it. Could be about AI, it could be about self-driving, it could be about virtual reality, it could be about prompt engineering, anything. May not be taught in SPJ, and don't wait for SPJ to teach you that. But you can do that on your own, nano degrees. Alternate education, which, as I said, while you're learning a full-time conventional program in multiple campuses, learning different things, there's nothing to prevent you from excelling in other areas, completely esoteric areas, design thinking, okay, complex problem solving, critical thinking, all kinds of interesting areas where you can continue to enhance your learning. This is a golden opportunity for people of your era. MOOC stands for Massive Online Open Courseware. These are some of the leading players. Coursera, edX. edX is a joint collaboration between Harvard and MIT. Khan Academy, Iversity. There's so many available. The interesting part is many of this is available, okay? Many of this is available for, let's say, free. And then, of course, you can become. Farial has a question. How will chemical engineers be? Every job will be replaced by AI. Farial, bad news. Good news, you can be a few notches ahead of AI if you know where to go, what to do, and how to do it. So even if you're a chemical engineer, yes, it could be dramatically altered by AI technologies. But if you have, and I'm going to look at that, right? So, how do I enhance myself as a chemical engineer to reimagine my future? Do all these things, and you're a few steps or few notches ahead of the AI chemical engineers, right? Okay, the end of routine is coming. So let's be honest about it. If you see the picture here, useless human beings carried by a robot, okay, to a garbage pit. The imminent redefinition of work, education, and economic logic. But listen, but the end of routine does not have to mean the end of human work. So don't get carried away by this picture. You still have hope at the end of the tunnel. Now listen carefully. This is to Faryal. Faryal, you as a chemical engineer may be, replaced, but a chemical engineer armed with a good management slash business degree with the human skills that I'm speaking here, which is emotions, emotionally intelligent, creative person, high degree of imagination, with excellent ethical practices and attitude, empathy towards your fellow human beings, a consciousness about what's happening around, driven by values, the power of mystery, asking questions, curiosity, compassion, and love, and intuition. Trust me, I'm just using Faryal in context because she asked the question, but it can be any of you with any background. On one hand, yes, you enhance your technical skills, but be aware that you also need to simultaneously become a better human being because, as the slide says, because anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become even more valuable. So, simultaneously, you need to develop this. So, on one hand, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, which we call STEAM. On the other hand, you're also saying humanity, ethics, creativity, and imagination. This is an MIT framework, by the way. MIT, as you know, is one of the most respected tech universities in the world because civilizations are driven by their technologies but defined by their humanity. Keep that in mind. So, all hope is not lost. The human learning algorithm, which means what? You can learn faster, you can learn more, you can compete with AI. I'll give you one example. There is an app which you can download, it's free of cost, okay? And there are a couple of things, but I'll give you one which is probably one of the most popular ones. Okay, it's called Lumosity. I'm just putting it on the chat for you so you can Google it. Lumosity. Android, iOS, you'd find it anywhere, in Apple Play Store or Google. What it does is it develops you as a relevant, person who can take control and go on to improve your brain levels. Okay, your brain in terms of enhancing its thinking, enhancing its problem solving, enhancing its creativity, and whatever. Right? Okay. So, how do we accelerate human learning? You can accelerate it 10 times. You can improve grades by 30%, and you can personalize learning. Again, one of the key things that you can do is, do it prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is when ChatGPT asks you, when you ask ChatGPT, or LLMs questions, you need to know to ask the right questions, the right, context, and then you find some fascinating answers that can come across. Okay, so in the future, exponential future is where the future is heading. Exponential is all about multiple level growth, and the curriculum would be something similar. Myth, you can't teach children about complex futures. Let me call, you can't teach youngsters about complex futures. Reality, children and youngsters pick it up faster and better. That's the reality. Okay, right. So today, individuals can change the world at a speed and scale unimaginable just 20 years ago. But most of us, unfortunately, aren't taught how to unlock this potential. Schools like ours, which actually prepare you for this kind of accelerated learning, which is why when conventional masters and MBA programs are 2 years, we teach you to do the same thing using the power of your brain and enhanced and complemented by the power of technology to do it in 1 year flat. With, of course, when you do a master's, you get a 4-month interesting opportunity to also do an internship in a company, either in Dubai, Singapore, any city that you complete the program. And let's be honest, learning is a lifelong endeavor. So it's not just that you finish in 2 years or 1 year and then go on to get a job. It's learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's what it is. So in the future, universities, business schools like us we've already become centers for lifelong learning. We have lots of interesting, options available for us. So yeah. Oh yes, Faryal, don't worry. You have a very bright future ahead that you have to just enhance your human skills. Look at the technologies that are disrupting chemical engineering. I'm using it to answer Faryal's challenge or question, but it's the same for each one of us, okay? So you can have, universities and business schools, becoming centers for lifelong learning. I leave you with this interesting video. It's a very counterintuitive video, which laments about the current state of education, but it's interesting.
Albert Einstein once said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today on trial, we have modern day schooling. Glad you could come. Not only does he make fish climb trees, but also makes them climb down and do a 10-mile run. Tell me, school, are you proud of the things you've done? Turning millions of people into robots, do you find that fun? Do you realize how many kids relate to that fish swimming upstream in class, never finding their gifts, thinking they are stupid, believing they are useless? Well, the time has come. No more excuses. I call school to the stand and accuse him of killing creativity, individuality, and being intellectually abusive. He's an ancient institution that has outlived his usage. So, Your Honor, this concludes my opening statement. And if I may present the evidence of my case, I will prove it.
Proceed.
Exhibit A. Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today. And here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today. And here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now, ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A, a letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat. I get it. Back then, times were different. We all have a past. I myself am no Gandhi. But today, we don't need to make robot zombies. The world has progressed. And now we need people who think creatively, innovatively, critically, independently, with the ability to connect. See, every scientist will tell you that no two brains are the same. And every parent with 2 or more children will confirm that claim. So please explain why you treat students like cookie cutter frames or snapback hats, giving them this one-size-fits-all crap.
Watch your language.
Sorry, Your Honor, but if a doctor prescribed the exact same medicine to all of his patients, the results will be tragic. So many people would get sick, yet when it comes to school, this is exactly what happens, this educational malpractice, where one teacher stands in front of 20 kids, each one having different strengths, different needs, different gifts, different dreams, and you teach the same thing the same way? That's horrific. Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant should not be acquitted. This may be one of the worst criminal offenses ever to be committed. And let's mention the way you treat your employees.
Objection. Overruled. I want to hear this.
It's a shame. I mean, teachers have the most important job on the planet, yet they're underpaid. No wonder so many students are shortchanged. Let's be honest. Teachers should earn just as much as doctors because a doctor can do heart surgery and save the life of a kid, but a great teacher can reach the heart of that kid and allow him to truly live. See, teachers are heroes that often get blamed, but they're not the problem. They work in a system without many options or rights. Curriculums are created by policymakers, most of which have never taught a day in their life. just obsessed with standardized tests. They think bubbling in a multiple choice question will determine success. That's outlandish. In fact, these tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned, but don't take my word for it. Take Frederick J. Kelly, the man who invented standardized testing, who said, and I quote, "These tests are too cruel to be used and should be abandoned." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if we continue down this road, the results will be lethal. I don't have much faith in school, but I do have faith in people. And if we can customize healthcare, bars, and Facebook pages, then it is our duty to do the same for education, to upgrade it, change it, do away with school spirit, because that's useless. Unless we're working to bring the spirit out of each and every student, that should be our task. No more common core. Instead, let's reach the core of every heart in every class. Sure, math is important, but no more than art or dance. Let's give every gift an equal chance. I know this sounds like a dream, but countries like Finland are doing impressive things. They have shorter school days. Teachers make a decent wage. Homework is non-existent, and they focus on collaboration instead of competition. But here's the kicker, boys and girls. Their educational system outperforms every other country in the world. Other places like Singapore are succeeding rapidly. Schools like Montessori, programs like Khan Academy, there is no single solution. But let's get moving. Because while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. So let's attend to their dreams. And there's no telling what we can achieve. This is a world in which I believe, a world where fish are no longer forced to climb trees. I'll rest my case.
Right, friends, that probably gave you the message. So, for all of us, this is not the end. It's time for us to explore more and together reimagining all our careers. I want to thank you on behalf of Team SP Jain. I hope you found this presentation useful. And I have another 5 to 10 minutes of questions because I have another session to go. But I will spend the next 10 to 15 minutes with you guys. Okay. Okay. Somebody says you've never seen a cool prof like me. Thank you. Thanks, Kunal, for that. Okay, great. Okay, now let me go to a question by Jaypreet. I presume he is a chartered accountant. What did guys like CA and professional people see? All of these jobs, Jaypreet, and it's not just for Jaypreet. Probably a lot of us have such lingering questions. If I'm a doctor, if I'm a lawyer or a chartered accountant, the profession of doctors and lawyers have already been dramatically disrupted by technology. Watson, for example, is an encyclopedia of medical history, and that means it can probably find solutions for cancer causing carcinogens much faster than, let's say, a 40-year-old or 40-year experienced doctor. But that doesn't replace the doctor because, let's be honest, technology cannot emote. Technology can't do ethical decisions. Technology can't be intuitive because these are unique human characteristics. So that's why that slide where I put all those human things will become extremely rare and extremely relevant. Okay, so don't worry too much about it, but you certainly need to have, you know, and so that's what it is. So this is how you have to explore that. Number one, don't get defaced because the history of humanity is a history of imagination beyond possibilities. I repeat that, imagination beyond possibilities. Yeah, because I'll tell you why. The whole process of human history has been the redevelopment. If I may use a simple example, some of the top companies, the most exciting innovations have happened because somebody thought about it and says, why not? All right. So all we need to do is create that quest for curiosity, ask the relevant questions. Why not? What if? How might we? And trust me, you would have such an exposure when you come to a top business school like SP Jain. We train you on that. One of the courses which is mandatory for all our students is design thinking. And when you come into a design thinking course, we'll provoke you. We'll provoke you with all the right kind of stuff in terms of asking the right questions and doing the right stuff. Okay. So that's so true. Now, Farial has another question, probably for her sister. She says, please answer the same question. Yeah. See, again, changing your career is just reimagining yourself. I'll give you two examples. Okay, I'm going to give mine first. Okay, that in itself should be adequate. My first degree is English literature. I had nothing to do with what I'm doing now. I moved into human resources management, my first master's, because my sister forced me into it. The program was, it's a very funny story, but very real. She couldn't get into a male's college alone because the family wouldn't allow it. So she tagged me along. So I was doing my first year master's in English literature. I dropped it, joined her. But somehow I loved the psychology and the behavioral science and the subjects pertaining to it. My first taste into management. Then moved into MBA marketing. Then did my PhD in design thinking and innovation. So there's no end to it. You can reimagine and reinvent your career as much as you want. My second example is from a guy who used to be, he was a bachelor's of arts history in Harvard, got into Procter and Gamble, and then went on to become a superstar success in Procter and Gamble, was seconded by the US major to become the CEO of India's Procter and Gamble. At the height of his career as a top corporate honcho, he quit all that and started writing books. So you have the power to reimagine yourself anytime you want. You just have to probably convince the elders in your family because sometimes they would get kind of confused, right? So you have to have that kind of let's say ability. Today, of course, youngsters take those decisions. I have three kids who are all grown up now. My eldest son, we wanted him to become an architect because he had that, but then he decided to get into finance. And today he actually reimagined. In fact, he joined architecture first year in New York and then quit that without telling his mom. He informed me, but didn't tell his mother. But then went on to become a Dean's Lister in Bachelor's in Finance. He went on to do an MBA in Finance, gold medalist. Then went on to do a doctorate in Business Administration from SB Jain in Finance. You can reinvent. My second son said, I'm not going to work for anybody. I want to get into the media field, audio engineering. Got into that. Today he runs his own studio, successful, happily married, and running his own recording theater. My third one, daughter, she wanted to do psychology. So I think it is a question of exploring your passion. Sometimes we get stuck in the wrong place. Many of us would be engineering degree holders not because we wanted to become, because some grandfather dreamt it or your mom or dad dreamt it, with all due respects to parents, right? So anytime you can reimagine, you can do what you want. As I said, the whole world of knowledge is waiting to be tapped, right? So that's what it is. And then management consulting again. There are a lot of AI tools, Kunal, which can help. Or I used to be in management consulting many years back, so certainly yes, it can help. And so don't worry, Faryal. There's a whole beautiful world outside waiting, to do it and do the courses we do. Okay, very good question, Hansika. Let me give you the mechanism behind it. Let's say you want to try a particular course. Let's say AI in healthcare. I'm using a random example. I don't want you to spend a few $100s first, right? You take the course free of cost, right? See how the course is, and then you say, wow, this is interesting. I think I wish I had a certification. What's the difference between doing it free and doing the certification? In the free course, you're not compelled to do any assignments. You just do it at your own pace, how you want it. You can skip lessons, you can skip assignments. But in a paid course, all the assignments have to be done, all the projects have to be done, a final evaluation will be there, and then you get a certification. Now, here's the most important thing. Whether you do it free, whether you do it paid, I don't care. Let's say I'm a prospective employer. All I want, you say I've done a course on AI in healthcare. I'm a healthcare major and I'm looking for somebody who's got healthcare and technology with them. I'm not interested in a piece of paper. Let me be honest with you, brutally honest with you. What I want is, can you demonstrate how your knowledge of AI and healthcare is going to help my company? And if you can demonstrate that convincingly, God bless, that's all, right? So today it's all about demonstrating those skills. Paper is an added compliment if you have it. So free, certified, it doesn't matter, but how you do it is what makes me the difference. Okay. Uh, Hibasha says, could you please tell me what skills could be? Uh, I mean, see, again, psychology, I don't know. I've counseled my daughter, so I know. She has gone into the corporate route. So graduation, she did clinical psychology, but then consciously she took business psychology in her master's. Today, she's looking at the corporate route. It could be in marketing. It could be in HR, okay, consumer branding, that's marketing. You can get into HR coaching, counseling, HR related. So she's looking at HR as a career. So it depends on what you want to do, Hibasha. Again, lots of avenues open for us. And then can you feel I've done 4-year BBA honors? I've come to know, want to attempt many papers will be exempted. Yes. So 4-year BBA with whom, Ibrahim? I don't know with whom. But you can check this out because we do have a tie-up with ACCA, but I don't know whether we would be able to do it for people coming outside SP Jain's program. But you can check that out. Check with the admissions team. They should be able to give you that help. What should I opt? I'm the eldest. I have to look for the family and earn good. Okay, that's such a responsible young student. Good. I'll have to just give 7 and B. I want to end in an Ivy League in USA. Confused because I'm determined that I can get in. Okay, you can also consider SP Jain as a good option. A master's in global finance as a good option with an ACCA. And check with the admissions team because I don't know whether you'll get waiver if you're from another institute outside. But our BBA students do get, the 4-year BBA students do get, this privilege. What else? Yeah, I think I've answered all the questions, guys. There's one more. Yeah. Good. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sure you got a message of hope. It's not the end of the world. We can always recreate. We can always become better, and so don't give up hope. Yeah, scope of ESG is huge, Dakshita. Very, very huge. In fact, there's something called climate finance. So certainly, yes, you should. But I have one suggestion of people like Dakshita who want to get into super specialization. I would suggest do something broader and then have a set of certifications, professional certifications in super specialization. What do I mean by that? A master's in finance, an MBA in finance, and then have a couple of top-notch professional certifications in ESG finance, fintech finance, right? So I don't want you to narrow yourself because that will narrow your scope when it comes to job options. So that would be my advice, Dakshita. Definitely, there's tremendous scope because ESG is no longer a buzzword. It's now becoming a huge thing in compliance, in documentation and regulation. So certainly, yes. SP Jain, by the way, has a center of excellence for sustainability and ESG. So again, you can learn a lot. You can do projects with that across campuses, and we're very conscious about it. So yes, you could consider that as well. Aliza says, I'm pursuing BCom honors. How can I further upskill? Yeah, so this is good, Aliza. That's your base, BCom with ACCA. My suggestion personally would be work for a year or two and then join a master's program, preferably with SP Jain, with finance. Then that adds to it, so it becomes a kind of comprehensive, portfolio that you have. You have a commerce degree with ACCA, and then you do finance. But I would suggest work for at least a year or two before you join. Okay, great. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the session, and I look forward to see many of you joining SP Jain. Would love to teach you some interesting stuff that happens, right? Over to the team, SP Jain, guys. You can take over.
So, Chris, I'd like to invite Meghna to try and say a few words about the admission-related questions, or wrap this session up.
Yes, so thank you, Sir, Professor Christopher. The session was so amazingly interesting. I think with the comments of the students, we can so very well understand how interesting it was. And, it was holding us all together with the sheer brilliant, points he has shared. And yes, we can come to the questions. I think there was a few minutes ago, there was somebody asking about the leadership opportunities at SP Jain. So, of course, to throw some light on that, the program that we have been talking about, the MGB, or if I talk about the global MBA, the program is designed in a way wherein we definitely expect each and every student to, be a leader in future. The kind of teaching methodologies or other, aspects we have with regards to teaching is no less than a top, B school, wherein we encourage a lot of students to participate in activities like SBRs, student boardrooms. I'm sure Sharon would be able to relate to that, wherein the student boardroom is there. I'm just giving an example, wherein a situation is thrown at you from a real-time corporate scenario and you're asked to behave like a real-time CEO with your colleagues being board of directors, and then you have to solve business problems, solve the complexities, find solutions, etc. And so this is just one of the examples wherein you would literally be treated as a leader already when you join our classes, and then you would be taking decisions basis that. So student boardrooms, case studies, and various other activities will, help you explore leadership opportunities at SPGen to a great extent. Another thing is that we have lot of committees, that you can lead, you can be a part of. GL committee or a placement committee or a student feedback committee. There are like lots and lots of committees for you to explore, lead them, bring the necessary changes, help students further, gain as much leadership experience as you can. Because at SPGen we always say that no 2 days are similar. One day you have a set schedule, another day you'll be asked to do think completely different. So I think leadership is all about management, critical thinking, decision making, and stuff like that. And each and every aspect, I'm sure, is very elaborately covered at SPGen. So leadership would never be a challenge there. Another question, I hope I've been able to answer your question with regards to leadership.
Yes, you have. I just wanted to ask quickly, Meghna,
Yeah.
two real questions that
Yes.
most of the students usually ask. And when
Yes.
we were getting into SPGen, we had certain questions. Two questions. One on the career services aspirations and the placements bit of it. Because students really look at ROI because they'll be investing that much money. So, some of the resources that students can look up on the internet. And the second thing is about scholarships. How can students get these scholarship opportunities, when they're applying?
Yes, so scholarship, Sharang, is again, is very profile based, right? So scholarships are definitely provided to deserving candidates, but of course, for that, the entire application and the admission process is profile based, right? Including your undergrad scores, including your extracurricular activities. If you have any work experience or internship experience, what is the quality? Of course, quantity is something that we look into, but quality of work experience, what organization are you associated with, what all things you've done at your workplace, and then again your test scores, right? Whether it is CAT or GMAT or GRE or the SPJAT test you take. So bringing in, I think all of you all should know this, that our admission process is about the holistic profile and not just one or two aspects, and that is again something that we really take pride in. So, if your profile is exciting enough and we find you deserving for scholarships, we shall be, more than happy offering that. But an exact amount or how the scholarship is given, of course, is profile based. But once we evaluate profiles, get on, with students with one-on-one discussions, we can definitely help them understand if their profile is, deserving of what kind of scholarship, for that matter.
Super. So just from summary, there are scholarship opportunities available at SPGen School of Global Management.
Absolutely.
They are profile based, and they might need some more information from you to help you guys. What about placements? What about these career services opportunities, Meghna?
Yes, so placements, again, I think Sharon, you would know it so better that, we have this PRP service, right? I mean, rather, program that we run right from the beginning of the program, that is, a professional readiness program, wherein we help students big time with, this preparation for them to be successful in clearing their interviews. And this not only prepares them for only personal interview, but so many other aspects, because the
Right.
interview is not only about soft skill or presenting themselves well, but how about the industry as well, what are the trends, what are the things you need to be knowing when it comes to general knowledge or presentation, or various locations that we are going to be taking the students to. So of course the PRP program helps students build around that entire profile and abilities and strength, to face the thing. And another thing is that we have all these tie-ups with all top industries and organizations across the three locations, which is Mumbai, Singapore, and Dubai. And we ensure that the students get the right internship and are able to convert their internships into full-time employment. Apart from that, we run so many, like multiple alumni sessions with students time and again, to ensure that the students are able to directly connect with the industry, the people who are already successfully working in various industries and organizations, and learn the industry trends, get in touch with them, get their networking done, and the placements would definitely happen in a much smoother way. Like Professor Christopher also mentioned, I would just quickly mention that even he had mentioned that he worked as an industry. I mean, he's worked in a lot of industries when it comes to consulting. So that is how we function. Our professors, our teachers are not only having a certain teaching experience, but they are literally people who work with across industries and organizations. And if you connect with them, you participate well in the class, network with them well, I think you would not even require the help of the placement cell or the placement committee. So, every possible arrangement or every possible facility is going to be provided to you to ensure the placement is happening, whether it is the PRP, whether it is making you connect with the alumni, whether it is through networking of the professors, whether it is through industry visits that happen real time, in all the three locations. So, do not worry about the placements. I would recommend, I would definitely want to emphasize on the point that give a lot of importance to the process and not the end product. If the process is taken care of, placement would by default happen. So at the moment, just think of taking an admission and performing and making use of that 1 year to the maximum possible fashion, and I think in the best possible way to learn and explore as much as you can, and placement would be taken care of.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Meghna. I think we have covered two very important topics, which were the central theme of the questions, which was scholarships and placement. We are 22 minutes over time that what we had looked for at the start, but I'd like to thank each and every one of you, around 87 of you that are still on this session. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your time. I know there are a lot of questions, but you can log on to SP Gen's website, and there are many counselors who will be able to spend a lot more time with you, like you, Bhavna, like you, Sakshi, to give you some insights about studying at this wonderful university, SP Gen School of Global Management. Just to give you two insights, I was one of the students who got a scholarship, and I got campus placed in Singapore as well. So the best case scenario outcome was for me, and this could be for you as well if you decide to pursue your master's, which is an MGB, or your the global MBA program. And now you can also go to London, which is my favorite city. Unfortunately, I didn't have that luxury at that time, but thanks so much once again, and we will be in touch with you. If you have any questions, you can obviously reach out to the email address mentioned on the chat, but we will be sending you a contact person's email address in case you decide to pursue a program at SPGen. Thanks so much, and wish you all the very best. Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, Smitha.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Thank you, sir.
All the best.